Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good whatever time of the day you're listening to this. I hope you're having a good day, night, evening, and fucking morning. Just had a Rob Harris on the podcast, and it was a lot of fun. Rob is, for those who don't know, is a stand-up comedian and a producer of The Medicine, and a friend of mine, and we had a really nice chat about stand-up in general, and the show and The Medicine he produces. It's a weekly show, and it's been going for about 5 years now. He's been running it for 5 years, been going a bit longer than that. Talked about how he views the night in terms of like how the show is like a way for comics to start progressing in Wellington. That you progress from the open mics to this show, and you start doing your best like 6 minutes where you can start testing your stuff and see if you can make the next leap to like being headliner and getting yourself ready for the pro paid shows. It was really interesting, and I do hope people go out to the shows, even in this kind of weird lockdown state that we're in at the moment, our second wave lockdown. People are still going out to shows, and you know, we're social distance. We're still making people laugh. So please do get out to them. The link for the show is going to be in the description. But it's every Wednesday at 7 p.m. in the Pow Wow Room on Courtney Place, just above Dakota Bar. So get to it. Myself, what am I doing? What am I fucking doing? I'm sure I'm doing some shows. That's the wrong calendar. I really should prepare a little bit better for these, but I like to have a little bit of a ramble, and it keeps me honest. I don't know what that means. Keep me honest. Google Calendar. Right, what am I doing? So when this comes out, I'll be doing Raw Meat Monday on the 24th. Welsh Dragon on the 26th, and yeah, that's cancelled because of Corona. I just got booked on a gig in Palmy at Sanson Bar on the Saturday the 29th, and for the first time there's going to be a gig in Reddens in Capity. Shout out to Bob of Cartel Comedy for putting that together. That's on the Sunday and the 30th. So that's going to be fun. I think Mike Fowler's heading that. Michael McCauley is emceeing. Michael McCauley was our first ever guest. So please come out to see that one. I'll have a lot of links in below. The podcast is starting to do decent numbers. I'm happy for all the feedback I'm getting back from people. Again, if you could please like it, share it, comment on it, tell your friends about it. And anyone who's interested in coming on, like, do hit me up and let me know. We have some really cool guests lined up in the future, and I can't wait to get them on. But for now, enjoy the next hour or so talking with the man himself, Rob Harris. Okay, joining me. Oh, that's far too hot. That is way too hot. Okay, joining me this evening, I am sitting down with Rob Harris, the producer of The Medicine stand-up comedy show, comedian, and all-round good guy-ish.
Depends on who you ask.
Well, depends on who you ask and on what night you ask.
Yep.
Welcome, Rob. How you doing, mate?
I'm good. I'm feeling quite positive. Thank you.
Quite
Thank you
positive.
for having me in your studio.
Don't ruin the illusion. Don't make this out to be bigger than what it actually is. We all know this is a 2-bit operation, and look, it's fine.
I'm impressed with the microphones.
I'm impressed.
like
I think
them.
people are impressed that I have microphones.
I wasn't sure what to expect. The sound quality better be mwah.
Okay, so when I say this is Rob asked me aggressively to be on the podcast.
I was beating down the door
and
saying,
then
let me in.
And then you expected me to have no microphones.
I wasn't sure what to expect, honestly. I was expecting a professional studio with soundproof walls,
Okay.
servants bringing me coffee, asking me how my day was.
What about my general appearance gives you that impression?
Well, maybe I thought you weren't putting your money into how you look, but maybe into some really nice sound equipment. I was wrong. Clearly, I don't know what you're spending your money on.
All going down the hole. It's it's not going into a bank account. It's not going into my fashion, and some of it is going into comedy. But fuck all, really. It's going to keep this alive.
Oh, there we go. No, it's good. Thank you for having me. How many people have you had on? I haven't even listened to it. I'm just a dick.
Yeah, Rob's really good. Rob was like, "Hey, what's this podcast about? Should I be funny? Should I be myself?" I said, "You should try and be funny, and definitely don't be yourself."
Yeah. Okay, I'll be someone else. Cool.
But aren't we all someone else?
To
Every
someone
day
else?
we wear a mask. And as
Maybe. I don't know.
As comedians, you wear, what is it? You have what's that fucking tattoo that everyone gets with the Joker laughing and one crying? The mask.
Oh, that like drama mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, one's happy, one's sad. I don't know. Why would anyone get that tattoo? Honestly, it's a silly tattoo.
It's a silly. Most tattoos are silly. Like I have a lot, and I think they're all pretty much, silly and ridiculous.
Right.
You don't have any, do you?
I have two.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, you do have two tattoos. Yeah. Yeah,
I got 'em on
Calvin
my
and
legs.
Hobbes.
Calvin and Hobbes.
Again,
Yeah.
don't show me, but people can't see it.
Well, I figured since I'm sitting so eloquently here,
Rob is
it wasn't
taking
going to hurt.
full advantage of the armchairs that we've provided him with. These are all rentals. These are just for the podcast.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, rentals. Okay. Well, it's quite comfy. I haven't sat in a chair like this since I was a student, I think.
That makes it then just. You must have been like a rich student then, because these are quite nice couches.
They're not sitting on cinder blocks.
Yeah, fuck
Okay.
you.
Sorry, but I am staring at like
Did
a
you
massive.
Did you go to college in Harvard?
Yeah, yes, obviously, and look how well it's turned out for me. But I am looking at like a 900-inch screen TV, which is different. I didn't have one of those.
That gets a lot of attention.
Does it?
Yeah, no, it does.
Cool. How long you been in this house then?
We've been here since we moved to New Zealand, so we've been here a year and a half.
Okay.
Which is going to be extended because of the world is on fire. So it's
All right.
It's a good move.
Cool, man.
How long have you been here in New Zealand?
In New Zealand since June 2011, just before the Rugby World Cup in 2011. So that was fun. And in Wellington since April 2012. So.
Oh, you're 8 years now, yeah.
Yep.
And what brought you to New Zealand?
It's hard to. I wasn't ready to go home. This is the short answer to that. So
Okay.
I traveled around Australia for 2 years, and I was like, "No, I'm not done yet. I don't want to go home." New Zealand had extended its working holiday visa to the age of 35, and so I came over here to have a bit of a play around, and ended up getting a job in Wellington, where I've been ever since. So, yeah, now I'm stuck here. I can't leave.
I think that's everyone's very, very, very smug about the fact that we're stuck here. We're like, oh, we're stuck. We say stuck, and we're like, oh no,
Yeah,
we can't leave.
Oh darn! Yeah, I can't go home and sit in 2 weeks of quarantine and then go back to my. Well, Canada's not too bad, but I think our southern neighbors.
They're trying to get over the wall.
That's a shit show. Yeah, they've built their own wall. I hope they like it. Yeah, so here's way better. It's been awesome. The past 3 months has pretty much been like a one big party. It's been great. I've been bragging, and now we're back into like semi. Let's be careful.
We're in the hangover. Like we're in the weekend after the big weekend. It's like maybe I shouldn't go so hard anymore.
Yeah.
I should just have a few waters when I'm out.
I blame the bouncers.
You blame
They should have kept it out. Keep out the riffraff in the bar that is New Zealand, in the club of New Zealand. Like here we were having a great time, and then someone snuck in here with a little sniffle. Ruined the party for everyone. There's always one.
There's always one. There's always the guy who comes in far too hot. He's just like, wow! And you're like, that's the night ruined.
That's it. He's gonna. This is it. Like dummy. Anyway.
So did you start comedy in New Zealand, or had you started back home in Canada?
Yeah, in Australia.
Oh, you started in Australia?
Yep. So I started in Melbourne. I didn't do a lot. I did 10 gigs over there, but I was kind of I was traveling down the East Coast with a bunch of people, kind of thinking, what am I gonna do? I'd already done the West Coast and like split up with another girlfriend, which is just the theme of how things go with me, and was like, what am I gonna do? And so I was like, I'm gonna do something that has to do that's comedy related or sense of humor. You've got a sense of humor. You've got to use it. And so driving between Sydney and Melbourne, something was calling me to Melbourne. I was like, I'm gonna find a comedy club. I'm gonna get a job as a bartender in a comedy club, and that's exactly what I did. So I got a job. I was working at the Comics Lounge in Melbourne, which was awesome. Great big venue, like 400 seats, and it was pretty much the best room in Australia, I would say. And so I got to talking to those guys there, and I did only about 10 gigs there. That's where I started, and I was doing some door-to-door sales and stuff like that. So yeah, it was cool. It was fun. I loved Melbourne. It was great.
And you said that like you said you have a sense of humor, you have to use it. Is that why you're like, I need to do, like, obviously you felt like you had to do something with the sense of humor, but where did that come from, that I have this sense of humor, I have to use it? Like, what was the call to stand up?
I've since I was 13, I think I remember watching Evening at the Improv on TV back home, and I was always wondered, could I do that? I should have pursued that interest at the age of 13. Instead, it was 31, whatever it was, 29, 30, around there. I always thought about it, and so I've always had a sense of humor, and I've thought like, well, what have I got to offer that I can, that it's going to be a fun job for me, and it would be a sense of humor. And so every job that I've ever had, I've used that sense of humor in some way, but I've never been able to like make any money out of it. It's also, in every job I've had, gotten me into trouble, and so every single job I've been in front of somebody important going like, oh, it was just a joke.
So you are well prepped for this cancel culture. You're like, I've been doing this for years.
Yeah,
baby.
well, oh God, I hope not. But like, I'm like, no, it was just, oh, for God's sakes. And so I thought, yep, let's just see what I can do with it. And it turns out, there's not a lot of money in comedy until you're big and famous, or touring or something like that. It's not an easy gig at all. So, but it's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it. It's a weird industry, but I've had fun.
The industry makes very little sense.
Nah.
You know, I know it's the entertainment industry, but whatever industry, you kind of go, there's a path that you can kind of follow. Yep. And with comedy, it's like, oh, this guy's been doing stand-up 2 weeks. He's the next big thing. And you're like, what?
There's a bit of that. I mean, I've seen some people struggle with it for years, and they just don't seem to get anywhere. And then other people on the first day up there, you're like, yep, this guy's got
they got
something into him. You can see this guy, girl, could be both, either. And just like, you can tell they're a bit of a smart ass. They're quick on their feet, and they've got some. I don't think something to say, but they at least string a joke together. I don't think they need to be political or anything.
You don't always have to have something to say. No.
Just you can be silly. I love silly more than like political jokes sometimes. I'm like, stop. I don't know.
Well, I think now is like, unless you have something political to say, it better be fucking good. Do you know what I mean? It better, because people are like, we didn't come here for this. Please be good. Because if it's not, it's like, oh, we fucking hate you.
Just do silly. Silly's okay. I mean, I've seen a few that have. There's no point. It's just the only point is to make you laugh. And I'm not. I was about to like get into their jokes, but I'm not going to. It's just. I hear a lot of like people that just pretty much, I've seen it too many times where they get up and they go like, Donald Trump, and then everyone goes boo, and then they go Jacinda Ardern, and everyone's like, yes, and you're like, this is pandering in the worst way. And it's not.
Well,
doesn't entertain
I think I got sick of that a couple of years ago with the Trump jokes, because everyone got up with, isn't Trump bad? And everyone's like, yeah, he's so bad. And you're like, okay, well, we know this. This has been done before he was president.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For years.
And it's like, I get that he's bad. We all know he's an asshole, right? It's fine. We get that. he makes so much fun of himself in his own tweets. He doesn't realize that it doesn't necessarily need someone going, isn't he bad? Isn't he terrible?
What a dummy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a jerk. And another thing he did bad was blah. And you're like,
Yeah.
I get it. So I kind of get a bit of a kick sometimes when people try to defend.
Well,
like, you know,
but that's
just
the point.
because it's funny. and
Isn't
you're
that
like,
the point
oh,
of
okay.
a comic, though?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, what is the opposite of what the popular opinion is? You know what I mean?
Yep.
The idea of a comic is to go, yeah, but what if? You know, like you try and argue the opposite side, no matter what it is, and you try and find the funny in it. I find that way more I always find that way more compelling.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
it's just hard to
Just
fucking
for
do.
fun.
It's just
Yeah,
hard
it
to
sure
do.
is.
I've tried it a couple of times. It's not worked too
Me
good.
too. I've tried. It hasn't gone over well.
What's your worst one?
I think I just tried to say, I'll tell you what else I like about Donald Trump. That's how I started the joke, implying that there was a plethora of subjects on which he and I would agree. And I said, like, he's created a lot of jobs. And from there I go, like, look at now I've got to, like, scan my own food at the checkout counter. I've got to put my own money into the bank. I've got to do all these little jobs on my own. And the economy's never been better because he's fired all the pesky people who used to do the job that I'm doing now for free. What a great leader. Like, it has nothing to do with him, but it didn't work. As you can see, it's a terrible joke. But that was my
That was you sticking up for Trump.
yeah, well, trying to anyway, just trying to be like, all right.
It's a thankless task.
So I don't actually want to, but I'm trying to, like, okay, what else can I say? Because he keeps going on about the economy and the jobs and blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well, here's how much it's benefited me. Now I've got to do, like, the jobs of the people that they've let go.
I definitely have more work. You know, I have more work. I don't know. I used to just go to the grocery store and it used to be really easy. Now I have to take more responsibility. I'm not a big fan of that.
Give them credit, those grocery store clerks, man. They can find that barcode fast. I can't. I'll sit there for like 2 minutes going, where the fuck? Boop, there it is. I'll get it by accident, or then I'll get it twice. And then, like, they've got, like, a special scanner, so it, like, they can put, like, 100 through at the same time without it weighing each individual
Where
item.
is this store? Because it's not in New Zealand.
The one that you can, like...
The real...
Well, that's the one that the professionals use.
Oh,
so
okay.
The ones who are, like, you know, paid to be there and, like, have the name badge and the uniform, they can fire those things through really quickly, and they know all the codes, like bananas 268-515, bam, and it's done. Like, that's $3.56, and you're like, oh wow, this guy's a hot dog, man. But like me, I'm like trying to find where's the barley button.
We have a chain in Ireland called Aldi and Lidl, right? So they'd be like a version of Pack and Save, but they're both German stores, and they're both brothers apparently. So they've set up like basically these cheap food warehouses, and their whole thing is like for your checkout to go as quickly as possible. So in Germany they're like, oh, you had someone at a checkout for 100 with 100 items for 30 seconds. You need to get that down to 15 or whatever. Like something insane. Like, you know, Germans' efficiency, ha ha ha. But they did it in Ireland, and then everyone kept complaining that the clerk wasn't like seeing how their day was. So they were like, we have to slow down and talk to the customer because we need
the interaction.
We need someone to ask how our day is going so we can have a bit of a moan.
Right.
It's like, that's pretty much, this is what we want. What we want. Or like, you know, like I came to the grocery store for groceries, but also I need to give out about Dave, my neighbour. He's being a prick. And the German's like, no, just get in and get out.
There's no talking.
There's no talking.
Yeah, we don't
We're
have...
like, no. How are you getting on, Dave? They tell you about Rob. Jeez, he's an awful bastard.
It's personal, I guess, interaction with the Germans hasn't always been successful. I guess, I don't know. I've never been to Germany. I've only known a few.
Have I been to Germany? I've been to Germany. I went to an amusement park in Germany once.
I ask you how your day was going, at least as you were leaving. Was that fun?
I don't know. I was like 11. It wasn't real Germany because it was quite close to the French border. So I don't know.
The Rhineland? Like, what? It wasn't real Germany.
I don't know. It didn't feel like real Germany because they were speaking English. So I was like, okay.
Okay. I don't know what real Germany is meant to feel like.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's not an amusement park. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure the whole country isn't represented by one amusement
by
park.
one place.
Yeah, like we drove across the border and drove back, so I can't really say I was in Germany.
Oh, okay.
I was in. I spent a little bit of time in Austria.
Okay, cool.
That's really cool in Vienna. That's
Pretty.
Huh?
Never been. Again, I've never really been to Europe. Isn't that embarrassing almost? Never.
Well, I've never been to your land, so it's the same thing. Like, it's, you know.
It feels different for me. I've been to the UK, so I've been to England, and where have I been? Brighton and over to Bath, London, and Amsterdam, and that's it. In Holland, but that's my.
I'm aware.
Just wanted to make sure.
Just want to make sure. I've been a couple.
Since you were, just dabbling in the European.
I've been to Amsterdam a couple of times.
Have you?
Yeah.
That's good.
I liked it. I liked it the first 2 times I went. The third time it was kind of at the height of the tourism, so it was like overpopulated tourists. It didn't get it. Like when did you go?
2007 or 2008. It was a layover on my way to Tanzania and back. So I was only there for a couple of days.
Tanzania?
Yeah, in Africa.
Did you? How long? That sounds cool.
That was fun. I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro.
Oh.
Yeah, went on the Serengeti. Spent some time in Zanzibar. Yeah, it was cool. It was. I would recommend going. It was fun.
I've always wanted to go to Zanzibar because of that line in the Tenacious D song, Zanzibar. And I was like, yeah, I want to go there.
Wow, you are easily sold.
Oh, it literally, like, I have the weirdest reasons for going anywhere. It's very little to do with the country whatsoever.
It's just like a random song.
Yeah. I'm like,
start singing the Canadian national anthem and have you hooked.
So like,
you'll be buying a flight tomorrow.
No, I can't think of another strange reason why I like going places. But
what brought you to New Zealand?
Like, we were planning to go backpacking,
and
we were sitting in a bar in Dublin, and I was looking at my phone, and sponsored ad came up going, they have brought back the 1-year working holiday visa for Australia and New Zealand, and I was like, what do you think about that? And Ashley was like, cool. That was it.
Hey, there you go. You are easily sold.
I was
not
like,
even a song.
I was like, yeah. It was a few points in. I was like, that sounds like a good. Like, we're gonna. This was my idea. Is like, we're gonna be at that side of the world anyway. We might as well stop in for a little bit, and that was kind of it.
That's pretty much how these things end up, isn't it? Now you are also stuck.
Yeah, and happy for it.
So you're on a working visa now?
No. I'm on the partner visa.
Partner visa.
Yeah. I'm the trophy husband. I just have my little hobbies. She's the
Ashley
talent.
know about
Ashley is the talent.
Oh, okay.
She's the smart one, the
I
talented
see.
one. They want her, and I'm just
You're there
baggage.
Oh, okay. I understand. Cool. Well, that's all right. So did you get to Australia or just New Zealand? All right.
We had a layover in Brisbane, and that was about it.
Oh, okay. Cool.
That was about it. So you started out in the bar, the comedy club in Melbourne.
Yep.
And you'd never done stand up before doing that, but you still had like a really good sense of what is a good place to start. Like, I'm gonna get a bar job in one of the best comedy clubs in Australia. You may not have known that at the time, but it's like it's a good instinct.
It was just a pretty simple Google search. There was 2 big comedy clubs in Melbourne at the time. So there was like, I forget the name of the other one because it's since closed down. And then I was on like the phones doing like phone sales with them for a day, and I was like, "No, this is terrible." And then the other place, I kind of started harassing them because I wanted to work behind the bar, and so I walked in there, gave them a resume, followed up with a phone call, followed up with another phone call, and I was like, "You hire me." I was really annoying, and they really liked that. So I was like, "Cool." They gave me a trial shift, which I was nervous about because I'd never done a bar shift anywhere. in my life. I was like, uh-oh. And it was really easy. I had a great time, and it was a lot of fun. Like, it was like working for the mob, though. That bar is it was dangerous. Yeah, it felt sometimes like you guys have some crazy stories. But yeah, that was a
What
good
happened?
6 months. I'm not gonna.
Too what? Okay, fair enough.
Well, just when I was there, nothing. It was fine. There was
Okay.
never any trouble when I was there. It was just fun Friday nights and Saturday nights. It was entertaining. It was good. The comedy was fun. Yeah, it was cool. I got to meet like just some of the Aussie comics and kind of get introduced that way. So it was fun to start, as opposed to like somebody starting out doing raw meats or whatever open mics and getting to know other people doing open mics. My introduction to comedy in Australia was meeting all the top comics like very quickly in succession. So I was like, okay, cool. So you guys aren't doing open mics. You guys are doing regular Friday nights, Saturday nights here, blah, blah, blah. And that's who I was talking to. That's who I was getting my advice from. And that's who I was talking about comedy to. So I was like, I felt like a bit of a step up. Unfortunately, working in the bar and then also doing door-to-door sales for stand-up comedy makes you hate stand-up comedy. And so I didn't get into it as much as I should have. So I should have been writing more and then performing more and being more involved with the entry level comedians, but I wasn't. And it was just stupid.
I was going to say, you probably got a lot better advice than you would get from hanging around open mics.
The open micers, yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah,
open mic comics, they talk to each other, and I did the same thing. So when I first started comedy in Wellington, I was doing it I was at every show. I see the same thing happening to other comics. I was at every show, and I was drinking heavily. Monday, Tuesday, whenever there was a show on, I was there, and participating and trying to get up whenever I could, talking to the other comics, and then sort of slowly I had to back off a little bit,
yeah,
because of the booze. But I was
Feel
at
that.
all of the shows, and then I was given the medicine. Me and Nick Bruce Smith sort of took it over for a little bit, turned it from what it was, which was kind of like a, I don't know, half-assed to put together open mic night. All due respect to Ricky Threlfo for making the medicine, but we turned it around into being like a little bit more of a higher quality show, and that really set the scene for where I wanted to be. Like I always kind of like higher quality. The comedy, that's always what I wanted to do. So not so much the open mics, but more of the on the ways. It'd be great to do professional level stuff. I think that'd be way more fun. But we'll see. I don't know.
With the medicine,
Yes.
you bill it as the semi-pro show.
Yep.
And so, what made you? Obviously, I know that actually is quite a unique selling point here in Wellington.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the kind of idea behind pushing a show like that? So, were you looking at it as a tool for MCs, comedians to progress? Like, what's the kind of your mission statement? Well, not a mission statement, but like your what you want to get out of it, and what you want people to get out of the medicine.
I want to. So I want it to be a step above an open mic. When it started off, I think we just wanted to just put the people on who we thought were the best, because we wanted people to come to the show, and that was the real idea around it, and it sort of grew into, I think, and so I don't know if people are telling me everything truthful because I'm running the thing, but it became a thing where people showed up thinking they always had to deliver their best gear, so that the show was always amazing, and it was a lot of fun. It really had a good heyday, and then as the top acts got better, like they could start bringing in some new material that they were trying, and then we'd bring in some of the new acts and say, give us your best 6 minutes, and it was kind of like it felt like a real stepping stone onto the weekend shows, where like the bigger names that were coming down from Auckland, you'd also get billed onto one of those. And so it was a place where the people who did the booking for the comedy, including the comedy festival, like they'd show up from time to time too, would be able to see like a more distilled version of what we were billing as sort of like the best in Wellington comedy. I think at one point it kind of was the best show in Wellington.
Yeah.
Not for long, but I think so. I think it was a lot of fun. Like when I was at VK's, I think that was when it was really in its heyday, and then it's been taking a while to kind of rebuild it back to where it is. And now there's way more competition and way more comics and way more producers, and so it's we've had to kind of change it a little bit.
That's good. Like I like the fact there's more like when I arrived in Wellington a year and a half ago, there was two open mics. There was the Raw Meat Monday, and then there was Cavern Club on Thursdays, and then I think Cartel Comedy had started the Friday nights at Pow Wow once a month. So there's the 3 open mics a month.
Yep, a month. Jesus.
Yeah. Sorry. No.
A week.
No. There was 2 a week, and then the Pow Wow was on once a month. So you're looking at probably getting 3 open mics a month. And now there's way more. I think if you on a good week, I could probably do 5 shows, which is great. But I think the competition only gets everyone gets everyone better and makes everyone run the shows better. But I can tell you, like, I always thought that I always heard about the medicine is like that's the show you want to be on when you're starting out. That's your first kind of step up. The first step up, and there's something I like the way what you do when you bring performers in is like it's very, very clear. It's like give me your best 6 minutes, put on a good show, and it puts pressure on people, which I think for the first time in their early stand-up career, there's not a lot of pressure other than what you put on yourselves. And you don't put on pressure, but you go, hey, look, I want to see their best stuff.
Yep.
But
it feels like a dick move, and I think a lot of people don't like that. But that's kind of what I want to see. No,
actually, because it gives something material. It's like, hey, this is what we want, and it gives someone. It's a tester for a lot of comics, I think, and it's very, very clear what the objective is and what your job is on the night. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. That's exactly what I want to hear.
That's what I think. So. But also I'm saying that because you booked me quite a lot, and
So I've heard that before. That like other people saying like that's the show that you want to do when you're first starting out. So that's your first goal, and then after that you can do some of the humorous art stuff on the weekends. That was the original plan, was for the next step up to be the Remedy, which was the Friday show. That was just too risky. I couldn't. That one cost me a lot of money, and so I had to stop doing that one.
Yeah.
That was going to be longer sets. They were all 10 or 20s of good material, and it's a Friday, so the price is up, and everyone is getting paid, and so that allows me a little bit more freedom to say I need you to do this specific type of material, which. I guess, yeah, so that was the plan. Anyway, so that's what I'd like the medicine to be. And so that's why I try to keep the quality good. I've just raised the prices because I want to set that impression.
Well, I think I think you did it at the right time as well, when there was this kind of like this big boom of comedy back after
almost.
The lockdown.
I think I was just a bit late. I think I was I should have done it.
You put up the prices
and then right into lockdown again. So now it's disincentive. Like, it's too expensive to go out to this show. We'll see how that goes. So I probably should have done it a month before, because I think people still would have gone. Ideally, I'd like to, start paying some more of the acts. With a bit, I'd like to start giving myself some money too, because it's a lot of work. And that isn't happening, so that's why like the dinners are nice if I can sort of splash out on them once in a while. So the headliner is the next sort of goal to get.
I like what you've done there as well, because you've created this little community feel after the show where everyone goes for dinner as well. Was that something that you kind of preemptively thought about, that you wanted everyone who was on the show to go for dinner afterwards to kind of create more of a community, or is that just something that happened kind of naturally?
I think a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. So I like cooking for people. I like having people around. I like bringing people together. I like making people laugh. And for the comedy thing, I definitely wanted to create a little bit more of a sense of community after the show. I've kind of felt like, there's nothing. We don't do anything together except for the small little pockets of people. And so I think it's really fun that that people go out to eat afterwards, and we just have a bit of a yarn, and we kind of get to know one another a little bit, and just have a chat and eat something. And so this food to me brings people together.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great opportunity to do that. It's late at night, and there's no Wellington restaurants open after the show, which is really a pain in the ass. But like, it's better than just getting wasted or I don't know, or whatever else could happen. Like, I think it's just.
I think
cool.
yeah, no, it's that good evening that it's everyone is relaxed after the show, and like you said, like, although we spend quite a lot of time with each other, we don't we see each other. Say me and you, for instance, we see each other once or twice a week for 2 hours, but we never actually hang out much after a show or anything like that. And I'm like that with loads of other people. So it's nice to actually be able to sit down with someone, you know, and everyone on the show for an hour and just like kind of just shoot the shit after the show, and you get to know people better.
Absolutely, which is fun.
And you remember it as well because you're not hammered.
Because you're not hammered, exactly. I mean, I'll happily, after a show on a Friday or Saturday, I'm often out like having drinks. I'm like more than happy to go out and like, let's get on it, and then you'll see a different side of me. Well, I don't know if you'll see a louder side of me. It's pretty much the same, but red-eyed. Yeah, I really like those dinners. So that started a couple of years ago, I guess. We at first we were going to the same place. It was always to this Indian restaurant. We'd go into the same place every time, and then we started to change around where we're gonna go. I would like to find like one place that we all go to every time, and it's the same, and it's good, and they're expecting us, and it kind of becomes a bit of a thing. I would love for that to happen. But I have no idea where that would be, or what people would go for, because some people can't eat certain types of food, or you know, or you're just in the mood for not pizzas. Or you are in the mood for pizza, like whatever, like one or the other. I don't know. So I like the Thai place. It's kind of my favorite at the moment.
I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of that Thai place. I have to say, I got delivery from there on Thursday, and it is fucking just as good as in there.
It's yummy.
It's fucking good.
See, I'm building a Wellington business.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, that's the like. But there is a certain thing like that. There's a. It seems like a bit more of an overall connection between the medicine, that you go to the show, you go out for dinner, and it seems, if you could build find a restaurant where you go to every Wednesday, you'll build another kind of connection there with another business where we can all kind of hang out in and all that kind of shit. It's definitely a cool part of the scene. I do appreciate that. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Thank you. I might start looking around.
Try to get some discounts as well if we turn up every Wednesday.
I would like to, yeah. I mean, I would approach them with that. I'd be like, look, I can bring anywhere between one, because I would go by myself after a show and not care. I'll be like, whatever, this is me. I'll have a great time. Fuck everyone else. I'm gonna go out for dinner or whatever. We get like 8, 9 people, 10 people out there sometimes, and it's I don't know, it's a couple $100 for them. But I would like to be able to do that, and it has to be kind of close so that we're not traveling too far. That would be cool. So if anyone knows anyone, reach out.
Yeah. The medicine is for sale.
Yeah, let's chat. Let's have. There's some restaurants that are good, some that are not good. Some of them aren't great. That's actually also given me a chance to try out some of the different places, which is kind of fun.
Do you know what I was thinking? What would be a fun thing to do is we could go to restaurants after the medicine and then review the restaurants as the medicine.
There you go.
And have a lot of like comedy reviews of restaurants. And then what you do, you go. Hey, look, we've been filming these reviews and we've been doing really well. We like to come and review our restaurant. We get something for free because we're all influencers.
Oh God. Restaurant people love that.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna.
Yeah.
You want free food, do you? No. Well, if the medicine was anyway influencing anyone to do anything,
it's to stop doing comedy.
Then maybe, yeah. But nah. That's cool.
So, okay. So the medicine is kind of the stepping stone from the open mics, and then you move from. Do you put any thought into the progression of people before you're opening to say coming up later in the show, all the way up to headliner. So like, you've opened once or twice. Now you could get to go. You go after the break, or you go before the headliner. Is that? Are you looking constantly at the acts that you're putting on? So when can I start to bump you up, or is it just random?
It's not entirely random. I put a lot of thought into the lineup. It doesn't necessarily always have to do with experience. So it can be if I want to, I don't want to have like 3 low energy acts in a row. So if you're new, I could put you somewhere like later on in the show because I know it's going to be a lower energy act. So I try to mix it up so that the audience isn't just bored to tears for the first little bit. So I like to make sure that it's got a good progression and it's varied. So I'll try to mix it up with sometimes it gets complicated. I think I need to get like an algorithm in there. I'm like, okay, now I've got like 2 Indian comics in a row, and then I need to have like a guy and a girl in between here, and then I've got to have a high energy, low energy. This guy's a musical act, and so like I need to like
he's outside.
I need to yeah. I didn't like this guy's old or whatever. Like it's you know, or they're going to do this type of joke, or after the break. Usually the second half is often like more fun because the audience is settled and they know what to expect and they've had a few more drinks and they're like, okay. And usually the second half is an easier sell for some of the comics, and so I'll change how that's going to go. With moving to Pow Wow now, though, we've got the crowd work spot back again, which is my favorite spot in the whole night. It's my favorite.
I when you offered that to me, I said yes because I can't say no to anything without thinking about it. I'd never done crowd work, like never once in any of my sets have I ever done crowd work. Like, can you want to do crowd work only? Like, yes. And then I was in the middle of New World trying to do my shopping, just shitting. I was just going, what the fuck did I just say yes to?
Yep.
But it's one of the funnest spots I've ever done.
It's always different. I haven't seen anything before. I've only seen a couple of people like bomb it. It's you're set up to succeed. It's kind of a cheating crowd work spot because you're told everyone knows what's about to happen. And so you're sort of encouraged to participate, which is it's kind of the idea. And then it's funny just for that. For me anyway, I like watching that. And then the comics are also nervous because like I don't know how this is gonna go. Like who knows? But it challenges you to think. Even myself, I'm like fuck, because you get stuck into some crowd work and it's boring, man, and you don't know what to do. You got to walk away. But I really like it. I like watching it. When we first introduced it, it was Brad Zimmerman's idea. He did it first and did pretty well. And then I was one of the first people to do it, and I was like, fuck. How the fuck is this gonna go? I was all day. I was like, this sucks. What am I doing? This is so stupid. And then we got into it, and it was a lot of fun, and it's been pretty good most of the time. It suits me because I like to tease, I suppose, and so I'll pull that information out of people, or then just find like a lot of the time the people will dig their own hole, like they'll make fun of themselves, and then you just have to throw salt on the wound.
Yeah.
And like, and then that's it. So it'd be like, okay. And it just, I think it's just a fun spot to do. I really, I like it. I like watching it.
It's a lot of fun to do, and it's that thing is like you feel pressure, but you're like, I can't prepare for this, so I've just got to go with it. You know, I was thinking, what should I do? It's like, I can't, I can't do anything. I've just got to run with it on the night.
Yep. You can come up with a few pre-prepared questions, which that's okay, even though it's like you're not allowed to do material, but like just asking, like, what did Miranda Clement was like? How did you meet? You know, that was sort of her question, and then that's people meet in weird ways, and so you can pull that up. I've seen just like it's been fun. Yeah, just come up with random questions. I don't like. Do you play sports even sometimes? Well, like, how were you in school? Like, were you bullied? Like, you can get into, like, really dark stuff, man. A little bit too quickly. You're like, oh, shit. So.
And was the idea of the crowd work spot, was that kind of, like, to give the comics another way to test the skill, or is it just because maybe this will be fun?
Both, I think. I think it's just a way. I really don't remember the initial conversation, but it was like, yeah, let's try it. Let's give it a go. Let's see how this is gonna. Let's see if you can grow your skills. Hopefully, it's fun. We'll see if it works. If it doesn't, great. It also frees up a spot on the show for me that I don't have to think too hard about booking. I'm like, cool. This is it's like one freebie that I get, so it's like one less spot that I have to worry about. And to do it, all I need to just see from you is like if you're quick on your feet, or if you're engaging. Like it's a relatively simple kind of. I'll put nearly anyone into it. Like it's
good all around. Yeah.
And so it's like that's fine. If you haven't done any of those, you can probably get away with the crowd work spot, and then that's it. And it's also right in the prime position, first one right after the break. That's the best.
That's the best spot.
That's the best spot to have.
So the medicine is a little bit about progression. What do you need to see from people to go, okay, you're ready to headline? Do you need to see them do a headline spot before you'd book them for the medicine?
No. If they have 10 minutes, and I know that they would have 10 minutes is like the minimum, so it's ending on a like the idea of the headline spot is that the crowd leaves on a high, right? So like the last act should be quite good, or like have a very strong sort of impact on the show. So booking for them, if you've got 10 good minutes where it's like laughs, lots of laughs, 10 to 15. That's kind of what I'm looking for there. Ideally 15 because it's a headline spot and you want to. That's what I'd like to see. Yeah. So if you've got like a solid 10 and ideally 10 to 15, that's it. So if I've seen you up there a few times and you've got this good 6 minutes and this good 6 minutes, and then you can smash those 6 minutes together.
Yeah,
that's 12 minutes.
12 minutes.
Yeah, which is in between 10 and 15, which is what I'm looking for.
Get 3 minutes of crowd work and you're done.
That's it.
You're
done.
You
can do crowd work. You can get like thrown off completely. That's okay. I have only headlined the medicine, I think, twice in 6 years.
So my and Gavin's plan of starting producing a night for more stage time probably.
I've gotten lots of stage time. I've hosted the show a lot.
Yeah.
But I think there's a confidence level even from myself that I haven't put myself into the headline spot very much. Really weird. I should do it more. But I just haven't. I don't know why.
Do you think that's kind of like it's my show and I don't want to be seen like I'm putting myself on as headliner as much?
Yep.
You're taking advantage of running the show?
Yep. There's definitely that aspect. I want to provide the opportunity for other people. At the same time, I also want to develop the ability to do 15 minutes. Like if I can do a lot of 6 minutes, that's one thing. And I've hosted it, so that's different. That's a very different experience, obviously. But yeah, I don't want to be seen always on the show all the time, which I think I started to do for a little bit. I think when we started running the show, we'd be like, okay, we need to hop up and do a quick 5 minutes because we need to get this crowd like energized, and so there's something that we were doing there. And now I do it every once in a while. I'll throw myself up there because it's my show and I want to have some stage time, and I don't really feel guilty about that too much anymore. But the headline one, I think the headline one is partly I don't want to be seen that way, and then partly lack of faith in my own jokes, which is something I need to overcome, which is bad. So I think I'm gonna check here. Sorry for the dead air time. Who's coming up? When am I next on? Oh, I'm not even on for a while. Look at me. Crazy. Oh, there we go. I can put myself on that one. There. September 9th. September 9th, come watch me headline The Medicine Wednesday.
I've convinced them. I'm like
7 p.m.
I've convinced them. I'm like, wow, it's time to start headlining your show. Fuck everyone else.
Yeah. This will be the Rob Harris show. The people that I work with, though, they say, oh, wow, you do a comedy show every week. I'm like, yeah, I do. Every week I have a comedy show. I'm like, we should really come and check that out. They assume that it's me, just me, for a night doing stand-up comedy. I'm like, come on, Jesus Christ. Like, I'm not.
Please come. You're the only people who's going to come.
People hate me now. Like, oh, it's just me. I'm like, no, it's a lineup show. Like, I couldn't do that. So sometimes I go and then, like, they just don't understand that it's not just me every Christ, could you imagine how shitty that would be?
You'd want to have at least a good 15 minutes if you're doing an hour every Wednesday. Like
15 new minutes.
15 new minutes.
I had to do that yesterday night with the Neil Thornton's show.
Oh yeah, how was that? How was that?
That was it was actually a lot of fun. So it's billed the same as like this is new material, but it's like like his favorite comics, I think, is what he billed it as. So they have the ability to tell jokes, but the jokes that they're gonna tell are probably gonna be bad. And so, but everyone had to do at least 10, and I did 15, but it did two things. So it was all new material or stuff that had been done in like the last month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so what happened is like, as I'm starting to think about this, like, shit, I don't have 15 minutes of new material. And so anytime any concept popped into my head, I was writing it down immediately. And that is one hell of a good thing to have happen. Anything that was popping into my head, I was writing it down.
So I was going to ask you, is like, how do you write? Like, how do you come up with, like, not come up with new material, but like, what's your, do you sit and write for an hour? Do you just write when it comes to you?
No,
do you write every day?
It's usually one line that pops into my head. I'm thinking, or like, I think that's weird. Write it down. Some of it's just stories, like things that have actually happened to me. And then the rest of it is just stupid ideas that I've thought of. I'm like, well, this is, if it makes me laugh, then I go, ha ha ha. And then I'll write it down, and then I'll try to explain that to people, and they don't get it. And I'm like, you're right.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I love when that happens. Like, no, you're right. That does. Now that I hear this coming out of my mouth in front of people, I get it.
Right, yeah. So that was one of them. So I had to end with like, that is pretty shit, isn't it? And moved on. But I listened back to it. Always record your sets. And I listened back afterwards, and I was like, oh, well, I thought I did better than this, but I'll get a couple of, probably 2 punchlines out of the whole thing. And then the rest will be stuff. Some of it I'll just ditch, and then other stuff I can probably work with.
There's work to be done, yeah.
So we'll see.
So this is before you start talking about this show, I was going to ask, where do you work out new material? Because this is only a new show. This Neil's new show called Digging In, isn't it? Is it once a month?
It might be.
Okay.
You have to ask Neil.
Yeah, well, we'll figure out and we'll plug it. But like, do you do many open mics or like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'll book in at Raw when I can. I don't normally do the open spots just because it's unreliable to get booked, and then I feel guilty if I don't stay, and I'm tired, and I mean it's even like late now, and I have to get up early, I have a job, and so like it runs you into the ground, like with the 9 to 5 it can be a bit tiring. I mean, I've tried to book in with the Bob's Cartel comedy shows, but those have all been packed until the end of the year or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't like there's a couple that I don't like to do. I don't think they exist anymore. The old, like, the Hard Cases one, I don't think was one that I wasn't up for. No, that one's all done. So I'll do that. The Cartel comedy one on Tuesday is good. I've thrown myself up on Wednesday. Although, like, I don't like doing brand new material on that show because I think it sets the wrong message to other comics. Mm-hmm. But I'll try to put a new piece in between two other bits. So that's where I'll try to run it. But usually the open mics, never on a paid show, like never on a paid gig. Like, you don't want to do that. You can try a new tag, but not like a fully new bit.
That's why you don't when you're being paid, it's like the assumption is do your best stuff.
You have to do your best.
Do your best stuff. We paid you. We seen you be funny. Now do that.
Yeah.
Do that. I don't care if you're sick of the material.
Mm-hmm.
You're being paid. Go do what you're being paid to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I expressed that once after I got booked by a guy. He's like, he wanted me to do 10 minutes. And I was like, oh, well, I hope you don't mind hearing the same jokes that I've been telling. He's like, no, that's why I booked you. I was like, oh, okay. And then I like opened it up. I was like, oh, that makes sense, you dummy.
It does take a while for that to sink in, though, because you do stuff that you know that works. And then you're like, oh, you forget that the crowd isn't there every time you've done it, and they're hearing it for the first time. They're like, it's okay that I do this stuff that works, and they're like, yeah,
Yep.
just do the stuff that works.
That's what I want. Do the hits. I've been telling the same towel rail joke for 6 years, I think. And it still works, and it still gets a laugh, and I'm amazed that like everyone in New Zealand hasn't heard this joke yet, but it still gets a laugh. And so I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna keep plugging it, because it works. Like up in the Taranaki gig on the weekend, I was like, all right, I'll do this, and it worked, and I was like, of course it worked. It's a great joke. Thank you.
I didn't know you were this humble, Rob.
Once you get past the charm,
the
good looks,
the
intelligence, yeah, the overall personality, you'll find I'm incredibly humble.
What's that? You know, girls breaking up with you is kind of a theme, is it?
Yeah. Oh, can you blame them? I guess not. There you go.
Oh God. So, have you got any plans? Well, okay, it's kind of not the best time to be planning for the future, but like to do. I don't know. You kind of. We talked about this once. You said you've never done an hour show, have you?
I have never done an hour show. No. Yeah. I am feeling a lot of pressure from my peers to do an hour show. Well, more than I've ever felt before.
We want to see you, Rob.
Yeah, for an hour.
It's about time. You've been hosting the medicine for like 25 years.
I know. It's part of my it's my DNA. I would like to. I don't know what's holding me back. I have like 2 bits that I really, really like, and then the rest is just filler. Whereas like if I want to do an hour, I kind of want to make it like solid, amazing, super hour. But like, I don't know. It's weird.
Okay, but do you think that like you won't get all the killer stuff unless you do an hour? Like you have to do it first and go, okay, what can I move around here which is going to make the hour better?
Yeah, and like you've got to have it so there's like the through line, so like there's a story, and like I mean people get kind of tired of comedy after 45 minutes.
I've heard this. There's this 40-minute lull.
You've got to push through that part, which I don't know anything about, so I've never done it. And so like there, I should definitely should give it a go. If I was to do it, I would probably do it as like either a one-off or a two-off show. I would think it would be fun to do at Pow Wow. And give it a go there and see what how that would go. But I mean, I would then I'd have to come up with a title, blah blah blah, and a poster. Oh, so much work. Never mind the jokes. There's all of that.
The poster is what's holding you back.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, I just have to think. But no, it would be fun. I'd be up. I definitely would like to give that a go. It was, I think, had this whole virus crap not happened, I would have been way more like, even at the start of the year, I think I was quite like, all right, let's do something here. I'm interested in doing a full year, or 4 hours, sorry. And now it's kind of like, oh well, like, what's happening now?
I think it's tough to have a kind of coherent plan at the moment, because like I'm applying for, like, me, Gavin and Tim are applying for fringes at the moment, and we got into PAMI Minifest, Comedy Minifest in September, and we're like, cool, we don't know what the lay of the land is going to look like, but we're still in it, and we're trying to get into the fringe again. Don't know what the lay of the land is going to be like in October, but hopefully we'll be in it. And then all going well, you know, maybe do the Wellington fringe as well and start doing those kind of things.
That's a good idea. I mean, and then you've got the date, and then you've got to work towards it, and then you know, like getting that deadline, that goal in there to work for is very important. And so that's a good idea. Yeah. I should do the same thing. I should just book in the date and be like, here's my time. I want to do an hour.
Have you done the fringes, or have you done much in the fringes?
I haven't done the Fringe Festival. I did it last year as the Medicine, so it was just a regular medicine, but just because I wanted to keep the cadence.
Yeah.
It got a bit confusing though, because we'd switched bars, but applied for Fringe at the old bar, at Fringe, so the cadence was fucked because like, oh, we're at this bar now. No, actually, we're here. No, we're gone. Then it was on a different day. It was a mess. So that I fucked that one up.
I wanted to keep
Yeah.
the continuity of it and then
And
completely change it.
did
all.
exactly the opposite
Yeah,
of that. Yeah.
Okay.
But I
Love
think,
it.
but it worked out well because it didn't have a big preamble. It just had the Medicine logo and just said like stand-up comedy, like this a lineup. That was it. And so people knew exactly what was happening, and so 30 people would show up to watch the show. So that was cool. I've done Comedy Festival with Nick Bruce Smith. So we had back-to-back sellout shows for the Comedy Festival, which was a lot of fun. And I haven't done it since those ones. So we did half an hour each for those shows. And 5 nights in a row or whatever. That was fun. It's by the end of those, you've really hit your stride, and you know your shit, and you know your gear, and you know what's good, and what you just know it, and it feels like they're at the top of your game. And so I could just imagine if that's what you're doing all the time, you'd be it wouldn't.
It's something I've noticed with like they say like the pro comics is when you can tell they're doing something new, but like. Because they're constantly performing all the time, their new stuff is like 7 or 8 levels above someone who's doing like it's just like they cut through the fat so quickly.
Yeah.
And it's just like set up punch and like, oh you fuck, and you're like, that's new, and you're like, nah, what? You
Really?
know,
Yeah.
The brain, it just cuts through all the fluff.
Yep. And they
And
just know how to get there very fast.
Yeah. Like it's funny, like you gave me a tip on one of my jokes that I've been doing for about a year. And I was like, fuck. Like,
there you go.
I like when people. I'm someone who actually likes unsolicited advice.
Me too.
I fucking love it.
From the right people.
I fucking love it. No, from everyone, because then
No.
I know who's good and who's shit.
Oh, okay. You just be like, thank you.
Do you know what I mean? Because some people give you advice and they're like, you should try it. I'm like, oh god, that's terrible. That's terrible advice. I know never to listen to you again. So I'm
I
like,
understand.
everyone give me the advice and I can figure out who knows their shit.
Yep.
But it's like, I think sometimes you don't see where the audience are thinking. You don't see the arc you're bringing the audience on, and then someone goes, "Oh, you should try this because this is where I see it going in my head," and then you're taking it away. And I'm someone I used to record myself quite a lot. I still do, but I think it's like I need to video myself more and try and talk to people more about some of the material to just fine tune it a little bit. How do you feel about like writing with other people and stuff like that? Do you think that sharpens you? Or are you better like solo, or how do you like to work?
Usually better alone. I find writing with people hard, but it's good to get into the habit of just meeting people. But I'd have to go prepared. So I've gotten. One of my jokes actually now has an ending because I was writing with people that I really like, and so I was like, "Oh shit, thank you, Jesus! I didn't even think of how it could have ended. That's awesome." And with certain people, I'm very good at helping them. With certain people, and then others, I can't walk through what their mindset is, and I'm like, what about here? And like I try to weave into the joke. I'm like, eh.
I find sometimes writing for other people very really easy because I can see what their act is and they can't.
Oh yeah.
well, no, I'm like, oh, you should try this, and they go, because sometimes you're so deep into your own material, you can't. You don't see it how it's been perceived by the audience a little bit.
I always put my own flavor onto it, which is the problem. I'm like, well, this is how I would deliver that joke, and I'm like, never mind about you. this is what I think's funny, and therefore
remind
you
me
should
not
do
to
that.
ask you for any help.
I can try. I'll be like, all right, give this a go. But I'm trying a little bit more to help. Like, okay, put it into what's your funny part, or what's something else that you can try here. I don't know, and then you just get up and try it out and see what happens.
Well, that's the proof is in the pudding. It's like you've got to try it
do
out
it
in front of an audience. You know, that's the goal.
Yeah. I always say like I was like comedy. What was I say? The comedy is like playing poker. It's like you don't ever learn anything unless you're playing for money. So like unless there's an audience in front of you who doesn't know who you are. Like that's the only time you're gonna really learn if your jokes are good or not, or if that's how you're gonna get better. Stand in front of the mirror and talk all you want. It's not gonna make a difference. Or write all you want until you actually get out there and start doing it. Nah.
You're just funny to yourself.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you? No, it's gone now. The question's gone. Just do you?
I don't.
No,
No.
you don't.
Sometimes.
That's shocking that you don't.
I don't know.
I thought you did. By the look of you, you had the head of someone who really did.
Oh, I get that a lot. You have no idea. It's nonstop.
You look like a doer. You look like a doer of that.
Except that you look like a doer of those things.
Of those things.
Of that stuff.
Yeah, no, that I thought about.
No.
It's definitely the thing that I thought you did.
Well, let me know what it is. And
Well,
then I'll
look,
tell you.
it's probably gone now. In all
That's fine.
honesty. It's definitely gone.
That's
It's definitely
okay.
gone. It's definitely gone.
Cool. Do you know what I think would be a fun idea for a show? It could either be like very, very funny or like a disaster that would involve the hospital and the police. I think it would be like a fun show to have like a lineup or a panel show or something, but everyone's on mushrooms.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever seen the Theo Von?
Oh, has it been done?
No. He did like 30 minutes after taking magic mushrooms, and he was high as fuck, and he was in the Comedy Cellars. It was like, whoa.
No, I haven't seen that, but like, I think it would be funny to see, like, just what would happen. You'd have to get the right people.
Yeah, no first timers.
Yeah, like the real sad, depressed comics, like on mushrooms, start thinking too much and like, oh my god, everything in my life is terrible. I have a vision in my head of it being amazing, but like then there's this other side of me that's like, this is only going to end in
Like,
disaster.
I think
like this will not go well.
I remember like when the last time I took mushrooms, if you gave me a microphone and put me in front of a crowd, I would run very far away from the crowd at a very high speed.
Like this
Like,
is so scary.
I don't think it'd be a hit and miss. You'd have to have a lot of people on standby. Because you'd be like, are you good? You'd be like, no, I need a minute.
I think so long as the crowd knew, they couldn't be like a surprise.
Oh, well, like if the
Guys,
crowd,
I'm so fucked up.
yeah, well, no,
Like, oh, I
the
thought you
crowd
were
obviously knows.
just weird,
because
yeah.
that's why they've turned up. They've turned up to see a car crash.
Yeah.
Like, they've turned up to see a car crash. And if anyone does 6 minutes, it doesn't even matter if like, how would you give people the light if they're all on mushrooms? Because you just go, hey, look, you're blowing time. It's like, no, man, I've only been up here for 30 seconds.
No, you've 10 minutes have passed and you've pissed your pants.
You've said nothing.
Like, yeah. And you just stared like ahead at somebody going, Jesus, the colors. That would be it'd be no first timers. Yeah, that'd be a bad idea.
Or maybe you should get people doing stand up for the first time ever. They've never done it before, and you give them mushrooms.
There you go. That would be just a horrible situation.
Yeah.
People who've never done even anything before. No drugs.
No,
no
what
drinking.
we do is you actually drug them. You don't tell them that you've given
Oh,
them the
God.
mushrooms. It's like that. That's what doing stand up is like.
Yeah, that's every time. Ugh.
You won't sleep for 2
Yeah,
days.
You'll never leave the industry now.
I'd love to see, like, if I had like a national holiday, I'd love it for everyone for that day to take mushrooms or acid, right? But they have to go around and try and do normal things throughout the day. Like your chores. Like you have to go and like post a letter, and you have to go down to the post office and buy a stamp on shrooms.
I feel like if that was the mission, I could do it. Like if I was on any of these drugs, I feel like, okay, the mission is to deliver this letter. But if the job was clean your house, I'd be like, nah, I wouldn't get anywhere. It would just be such a disaster. It would never be clean enough. I would lose track of where I was.
It'd never be clean enough, but the next day you'd be like, fuck, I cleaned this shit out.
I don't think I could even do it properly. I'd start moving things and start vacuuming and then forget what I was doing. And be like, wow, and then start digging into like the couch and be like, what's in here? And I think I would just lose. But I could do like a focused task of Go to the grocery store. Actually, go to the grocery store would be a nightmare.
That would be.
Everything's so bright and colorful, and everyone here is normal. And
No,
I'm
they
here.
wouldn't be normal though. Everyone would be on mushrooms.
Oh, everyone.
Everyone, the whole day. This is one day. Everyone's
everyone
rolling.
in the world. does
Everyone
it.
in the world is
Oh.
rolling.
Okay.
No.
I was
That's
like-
the thing. And, like, that's my national holiday. Everyone's there.
I
You wake
see.
up,
I
you
would
take a
probably
dose, and you just try and get through it.
and see what happens.
Yeah.
Jesus, just don't drive.
Oh yeah. Obviously, don't drive.
Yeah.
I didn't think that one through. Truck drivers are gonna have the day off.
It's a holiday, so
Yeah,
don't.
and pilots as
Yeah,
well. They
yeah.
have a day off.
Well, Jesus, imagine trying to work that. That'd be suck. Like, I have to work on National Do Mushrooms.
Oh yeah,
Day.
you've got to work. You've got to work. You got to turn up to work. Like they let you work from home on that day, so it's not too bad.
I'm just trying to imagine like the poor like grocery teller just going like, "This thing's awesome." Just beep boop beep boop. It's the same item. Doop. Listen to it. Doot 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 doot. That'll be $5,000 for like your box of macaroni. Like, what? This is crazy. And then just leave. Like, wow. This is. I don't know. I think it would be an odd. That's a good day. All right. Well, I think that you should run.
I should run
As-
in this election.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I think I do it. But have you seen the Green Party's poster? Just party, vote Green.
I have probably
And I'm like, I don't.
party vote green.
Yeah, party, vote Green. I'm
Party
like,
and vote green.
What?
Jesus. I feel like voting for the Green Party is a vote for just pure anarchy, which is tempting. Like, they just seem
We tried that with Trump.
so out of line with like anything that would make any basic economic sense. I'm not even like in any way involved in New Zealand politics. Like,
Neither am I, but like I have no idea. I barely knew there was an election.
I did. I can vote in this one.
Oh, this took me by surprise. This election.
How do you feel, guys? You got a foreigner voting in your elections now. Me, I'm not even a citizen, and I'm gonna determine the. My vote is for sale. I might as well just have like a big like buy me, whatever it is. I don't care. Come on, Winston. Like, I have a feeling I know who I would vote for. I've done zero research, which is really stupid. But I kind of feel like just because back home I always voted for the Green Party.
Yeah.
First of all, because I was like, if you guys win and your policies are implemented, that would be crazy. That would just be something. Even if like, I feel like if 2% of their policies were implemented, it would be like a positive change.
Yeah.
Whereas the rest is just the status quo. Like, I feel like everything it doesn't matter who's in charge. They kind of all do the same stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Just with like varying degrees of stupidity. I think. And so whereas like the Green Party would be like, all right, well, yeah, I see what you guys are up to. But New Zealand, I can't imagine New Zealand electing some radical party that's like out there like, we're gonna drill oil everywhere we can and like just nothing but coal and gold mines, and everyone's like, yeah, that's gonna be awesome. Like, I can't see that happening in New Zealand. Like, it's gonna be like a little bit to the left,
A little bit to the left,
bit
a little bit to the right.
It's like this it's everyone's essentially the same. Nothing drastic is gonna happen.
No.
I kind of feel like people are fairly environmentally conscious here. Like,
I feel the same in
I don't
Ireland. Like when they give it the, I'm like, is there a difference? Like, because no one's gonna be like, oh, we're gonna shake up the system. Like, no, you're not. Like, you're just not.
no, I don't think so.
No,
Yeah,
oh, that was close to being not racist.
racist.
No, but think right. So
No.
I've figured out like. So the Irish accent, right, is extremely hard for people to do, right, without going, hey,
Unless it's twiddly-dee.
right, because there's the Northern Irish accent, which is very distinct. So it's like, you know,
That's the easy one.
yeah, I'm from Belfast, you know, that one. That's
And I'm fucking miserable.
I'm miserable,
I'm
yeah.
from Belfast.
Like,
Belfast.
That's very distinct. But the rest of Ireland, like, there's a different accent every 25 minutes up the road.
Yep.
Like, so it's very hard to nail it down. I've only seen it done well a couple of times. I was in Red Dead Redemption 2. They had an Irish actor, he had a North Dublin accent. It was fucking brilliant. I was like, this is my favourite character. They finally got an Irish accent fucking nailed down because they picked a specific one instead of this fucking all-encompassing fucking leprechaun on speed type
Potatoes.
guy. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. I know the one. Doesn't sound right, does it?
Was it Sons of Anarchy when they tried? Oh God, did you ever watch that?
No.
No. Okay. Well, they
got one.
did this IRA in it and when the guys were doing the accent, they looked in pain. All the American actors, their jawlines looked like they were coming halfway across their face trying to do this accent, and it was just like, oh god, this is terrible. Like, it's so bad.
I think the fun part about the Irish are just all the random expressions that you guys come up with. You're just like, what? Like, just out of nowhere, it just seems like. I think
We've fucking loads. That's how we deal with having to speak the English language. We just have loads of.
How's the weather? Oh, there's good drying on.
Oh, good drying out. Good drying out. Drying the clothes. That's fucking simple, man. Good drying out. It's good drying out weather.
There's
That's
good
fine.
drying out. There you go.
Good drying out. That one makes sense.
Yeah, if you get it, I get it. There's good drying.
It's good drying out.
Because it's always raining.
Yeah. It fucking. I went home in February and it just rained for 3 weeks.
Just
it was
non-stop.
Just great. Yeah. I was like, it's good to be home. It's good. There's one Irish saying. I don't know if this is an Irish saying or just some lunatic I knew. He was like, we're having an awful lot of weather lately. And I was like, what do you mean? We have weather every day. We have weather. There's weather constantly all the time.
I was trying to think. Because there's quite a strong influence on Eastern Canada and Newfoundland, where there's like you'd think you were in Ireland. Like, it's like people are like, this is Irish. The music is quite similar, all fiddles and drums and whatever. And then the accent there is quite strong, and they've got some funny expressions. I wish I could think of any of them. Some sea on the northern side of harbour. Like, just like.
What are some Canadians' expressions except for sorry?
Expressions. Do you know what? It's been 10 years. I've forgotten anything that Canadians would say.
You've aged out.
I've just forgotten it. Yeah, I know I can recognize a Canadian, like, by some things that they say when you're like, "Hey man, you doing? What did you have fun last night?" Like, yeah, right on.
Right on.
Yeah, I hear that all the time. Like, the Canadians definitely say hoose, oot in a boot, and hoose. You can hear it. I can hear it, and it's horrific. I'm trying to even think of some other expressions, and I've just forgotten them. Or they'll both try to come out of my mouth at the same time, like the words for like if like I'm trying to say rubbish or garbage.
Yeah.
And they both come out and I was like, here's the grubbage. I'm like, what?
What do we call it? The rubbish. We call it the rubbish.
Rubbish.
Well, I kind of. Do you call it trash here as well? Do they call it trash?
Trash is an American term.
But yeah, but the Kiwis there's quite a lot of American terms here.
Yeah. Well, it would be everywhere. I don't know. I don't hear trash much. I hear rubbish a lot.
Rubbish. Here, rubbish.
Rubbish would be the term.
Okay, maybe it is. Maybe I've just started saying trash then.
More.
For some reason.
Maybe.
I don't know. There
you go. It'd be good to use like trash. Like, what if you were to say like white trash, referring to white trash people? What if you say like white rubbish? That guy's white garbage.
He's white wet.
That actually sounds really bad.
Yeah, white garbage sounds way worse than white.
Finally, we can offend white people.
White waste.
You are white garbage.
White waste.
White waste.
You're a waste of white.
You're just whiteness. Yeah. What are you doing? You've just had everything thrown at you that's good, and you've wasted it.
Yeah. You were.
Like, you had all the opportunity in the world. What have you done? Wasted it. You're white waste. White rubbish. White garbage is my favorite.
White garbage.
White garbage.
White garbage.
Sorry. I was off on a tangent anyway. What part of Ireland are you from?
So, my family is from Carlow. Which is in the blank stare.
Yeah.
The blank
you can't see that listening.
I'm so used to the blank stare when I say I'm from in Ireland. People go, "Oh."
Yeah.
And then I know. I don't say where I'm from anymore. People go, "Where are you from?" Ireland? You don't know it.
Just
you don't know.
South.
You don't know it. You just you know Dublin? Yeah, near there. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
There you
go.
go.
Oh, yeah, near Dublin. Yeah, everywhere is near Dublin in Ireland.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I was actually born in London.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I lived there for 4 years, and I lived in the west of Ireland for 10 years.
Galway.
Near Galway in Mayo. This is the next county over, and then moved to Carlow. This is where all the family, like aunties and uncles, are from, and where my dad is from. But it's the second smallest county in Ireland. So people, no one fucking, no one goes there. There's no tourism there whatsoever. Like it's just
sounds like pure Ireland. How many pubs are there in the smallest?
Fucking loads. Fucking I live in my family.
No surprise.
Outside is like a really small village, maybe population maybe 2,000 people, and there's 5-6 pubs.
Yeah.
For a and they're all within spitting distance of each other. Like there's pubs across the road from each other.
Yep.
And there's 6 of them.
That doesn't surprise me.
No.
At all. Not at all.
No. And they're all still going. They are not closing down. There's no way they'll close down.
Oh, good. I've never been to Ireland. I'd like to go there.
You do well over there.
I think I'd have
You've
fun.
got the right sense of humor to do well over there.
I think so. I'd have to keep up. I'd have to start talking because they talk incessantly. The Irish just don't stop.
We don't like silence.
Nah.
We don't do well with uncomfortable silence. We're not. One of my friends said to me, "It's like, Shannon, when we're in a conversation, like you go like hard. Like I'm like, la, 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 la. It's like I'm like way more reserved and relaxed, and like Kiwis don't like loud and a lot. And I'm like,
I know.
Yeah, like when me and Ashley and our other 2 mates from London, when we are together, we are the no matter where we go in New Zealand, we're the loudest people in every single place. And the way we talk is like, I'll talk over you, and then you'll talk over me, and then I'll talk over her, and she'll talk over me, and we just keep doing that. And then it all becomes one conversation somehow. We're all having the same conversation, but we're talking over each other.
They're all yelling at each other. Like,
yeah,
oh,
but
shit.
we know like this is the natural way we speak. We speak like we're fighting with each other
endlessly. Yeah,
and then people are like, oh, yeah, Kiwis don't. That's not. It's much more. You talk, I listen. I'm like, oh no, I don't listen.
I'm listening. I'm listening and talking.
I'm listening and talking at the same time. We go loud and hard and fast and continuous.
One day I'll get there. One day.
Okay. Right, Rob. We've done an hour and 20, and it's been very, very good. A lot of fun.
Cool, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Next time we'll do it with drinks when you're drinking again.
Yeah. We've only got for 3.5 months.
Well then, I want to be the first.
We'll only be the first on we call it a drunk cast.
Yeah, there we go.
Maybe we won't record it.
Or we will, and then we'll decide what happens next.
I presume you're going to be on the next couple of medicines.
I'm not.
Well, you're not. But the medicine, anyway, the medicine takes place every Wednesday, 7 p.m. at the Pow Wow Room. Tickets are $15 and can be found on, is it Event Finder or is it?
$15 on the door, $12 on Event Finder, which takes you to the Pow Wow site. So there's no fees when you're booking for them, which is great. We got Neil Thornton's coming up next week. The end of the month, we've got Sarah Devsich is hosting that one, so it should be fun.
Cool. All right, Rob, thanks a million for coming on. Cheers.
Thanks for having me.